When you're dating a highly attractive woman, and I mean a 10 out of 10, then you are a lucky man. I mean, except when you don't like highly attractive women, but who doesn't? I dated a couple of good looking girls, especially in my 20s, but there was one girl that I would really rate with a 10 out of 10. She was a model. Not a skinny, wasted, desperate model who didn't know better than to sell her body on the catwalk. She was a really beautiful woman who knew exactly what she wanted and how to get it. Although she was only 20 years old, and back then I was 21 or something, so almost the same age. I couldn't believe it. I had a model girlfriend. On the other hand, back in the days, I had a real high self esteem, studying fine arts and playing in a band. I was the crush of many girls. I sometimes at the party I could just pick one. But back then, believe it or not, I was actually pretty prudish and picky, and I skipped many chances just because they were not pretty enough for me. Or, I mean, I could afford it. Oh boy, how I wish to be that young man again. Anyway, once it happened, I was in a relationship with this 10 out of 10. Tall, slim but not skinny, perfect figure, long blonde hair, big mouth, blue eyes, perfect teeth. The only thing that was sort of missing were real breasts. She was pretty flat, but I never cared much about big boobs, so it was okay for me. But for her, it was a real issue. And it was also the source of her low self esteem, beside her beauty. Maybe that was why I got her. She was really suffering from her flat chest, although her body was perfect, just the way it was. Being with a 10 out of 10 is heaven and hell at the same time. It was heaven when I was alone with her, but it was hell when we were out. Like seconds after we entered the room, more or less all the men would start staring at her or even approach her, flirt with her, talk to her, buy her drinks. I could tell that no matter where I went with this woman, all the other men there wanted to sleep with her. Also, older men, men far older than me with my 21, 22 years, and men far more wealthy than me. And she played with this. Although she found it weird that 40 or 50-year-old man would start flirting with her as she has just been a teenager, when she got the chance to do so, she was totally into it and she enjoyed all the attention and the compliments. And afterwards, she would say something like, "Ha, that old guy was so funny," or she would, "That older guy invited me to his country house, and that older guy wanted me to book me as a model, and that older guy said I could use his pool this summer," and so on and so on and so on. Imagine how I felt. She would talk about other men all the time, as there were so many other men in her life, and they were all so nice to her. Why? She had so many options for work, for jobs, so many invitations to parties, so many men who would help her with this and that. And there were so many things that I could not do for her, either because I didn't have the time, but mostly because I did not have the option or the money. I had no country home with a pool, I still don't have one. I had no photo agency who would book her and pay her a few $1,000 just for a few hours of her time. I could not take her into the city with my sports car because I didn't have a sports car. I don't have a sports car now either. I drive an SUV. Who drives a sports car? I mean, like for a fourth car or something, and so on. So she would constantly tell me about her luxury life with other men. But since I was young enough back then to have the option to become such a wealthy and successful man, that was good enough for her to be with me. As her fantasy suggests, I would become such a man in the near future. and dating older men felt weird, and it wasn't really an option for her. She liked flirting with them, but yeah. So once she told me about her ex-boyfriend, whose new girlfriend had D cups. I did not ask for this information. I don't actually want to hear about my girlfriend's exes at all. I don't care. And why would I care about their ex-boyfriend's new girlfriends? I don't know them. I don't want to meet them. So sometimes she would even show me pictures of their ex's girlfriends and ask me if I find them hotter than her. It's a little bit absurd. So for whatever reason, girlfriends always talk about their exes, especially when you, as a man, are not really good at something the exes were good at, or she's missing something in you that their ex-boyfriends had, but you don't have it. So women basically always compare you to their previous relationships. I guess many men compare their girlfriends' bodies to the bodies of their exes in a similar manner. Both is superficious. We are all unique. Everyone has his qualities, her qualities. And by comparing people with each other, you might miss a few of these qualities in a person, because some of these qualities might be completely new to you. Maybe your exes didn't have these qualities at all and you don't see them because they have never been topic. So this relationship lasted, I don't know, like maybe 10 months or so. But that felt like eternity in the beginning 20s. This is a very long relationship for a young man. So she shared her apartment with a girlfriend. They were both studying, but I was still living at my parents'. I moved out a couple of weeks, I guess, after the relationship. And then, and now comes the fun part, after she quit, she confessed to me that she was still in a relationship with her ex-boyfriend. Although she had told me that she ditched him a few days before we met first. So she was sharing herself with that other man and me, and that other man had two girlfriends. I don't know if his girlfriend did know about her or not. Fact is, everyone slept with everyone except me. I only slept with her. I'm a monogamous person. I'm not into open relationship. I think that's bullshit. So that hurt. But suddenly also everything made sense. Why she didn't have so much time, where her bed had always fresh sheets, where her flatmate wouldn't really talk with me, why she wouldn't pick up the phone sometimes for a few days, why she was on holidays with girlfriends I never met, and why she wouldn't even show me photos of these holidays with her girlfriends whom I never met, and so on. I was so stupid. There were so many signs, but young, naive, and unexperienced as I was, I believed her everything she said. So, what did I do besides being heartbroken? I asked her to decide between him and me. And I think in the end she quit with him too. And a few months later, I heard that she was in a relationship with a 35-year-old dude, so 15 years older than I was, a boss of a model agency. Who would have thought? He drives a sports car and has a country house with a pool. And life is so great now. She's making so much money. She's like on the pool all the time, and also she is considering breast surgery, which he will pay. So from nowadays perspective, that's a classic. Back then it hurt, but I had my 10 out of 10, and I'm glad I did. Did you have a 10 out of 10? Let me know in the comments. Also, I think, like to finish this, I think it's better to date a 7 or an 8 out of 10 and have a serious relationship that is honest, and it's not only based upon an economic model. I think you can have a super relationship with a 7 or an 8 out of 10. Be lucky when you have an 8 out of 10. But 10 out of 10s and 9 out of 10s, they just play with you. If you like to play, do it. But, you know, whenever you gamble with love, your heart is at stake. All right, if you like what you hear, subscribe to the channel. I'll do more dating episodes. I'm doing other stuff as well. You can look it up. It says some philosophy, some science, some psychology, but there's also lots of dating advice in sense of I tell you my experiences with various kinds of women so you don't make the same mistakes that I did. That's it for today. See you next time.